This is News 8 Now in high definition.
Tonight, mixed emotions of sadness and anger after losing their homes to a fire.
Also left with a head injury after a raid in a Fort Worth bar, today this man defends himself for the first time.
And Chrysler and GM will be able to rebuild themselves, building better cars. But will they still protect their old cars? Good afternoon, I'm Jessica Williams.
And I'm Kimberly Miller. This is the News 8 Summer 2009 Intern Newscast. After recently filing for bankruptcy, Chrysler and GM hope to come back stronger. Yet part of their restructuring plans may affect you. The court has decided Chrysler can shed all lawsuits filed against them before the bankruptcy. Stephanie Hastings spoke to one Dallas family who is feeling the effect of this decision firsthand.
Friends say Eagle Scout leader Mike Rambo was a hard-working American, his son's hero and his wife's best friend.
If we had one last day to spend with Daddy, we would have spent it just like that.
The family was coming home from a spring break camping trip when their Chrysler Jeep Cherokee rolled over. Mike's seatbelt came unlatched during the accident. He was ejected from the car and killed.
I said, Daddy, are you there? And he just wasn't in the car.
Unfortunately, a lawsuit against Chrysler is not an option.
The only time we've ever needed this or wanted this or needed this kind of help, they're legally telling us we can't.
The Rambos are not the only family affected by the Chrysler and GM bankruptcies. All of the thousands of cases filed against Chrysler are essentially dead. And tomorrow, the court will decide if GM can also walk away from its liabilities.
Bankruptcy gives companies a fresh start, but it limits the consumer's ability to bring a lawsuit.
You are driving around in a vehicle right now. You haven't even had an accident yet. And if you do have an accident and you are doing nothing wrong and you are killed, you were rendered a quadriplegic or a paraplegic, you have no legal recourse to go against Chrysler.
The Rambos attorney says the family's only course of action is to sue the dealership or the manufacturer of the seatbelt. While Chrysler's bankruptcy was completely legal, it has left families like the Rambos feeling as though Chrysler has walked away from its responsibilities.
Since emerging from bankruptcy, the new government-owned GM has agreed to accept future product liability claims. But like Chrysler, pending and old lawsuits against GM will not be picked up by the new company. Bankruptcy court has given Chrysler and GM the chance to reorganize and rebuild. Stephanie Hastings, Channel 8 News.
It's the news that shocked the world. Music lost its king of pop. Michael Jackson died at the age of 50 after going into cardiac arrest. As a kid, he was a star of the Jackson 5. As a solo artist, Jackson became an icon. His album, Thriller, is the best-selling album of all time. Jackson had been rehearsing for his comeback. The This Is It tour offered 50 concerts in London.
I feel the king of pop is not big enough for him. I think he is simply the greatest entertainer that ever lived.
Thousands gathered at the Staples Center in Los Angeles for the memorial service. Celebrities and friends honored not only the performer, but Jackson the man. His daughter Paris gave her father an emotional goodbye.
Just wanted to say, speak up, sweetheart, speak up. Get close.
Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
Questions about custody of his children, his estate, bizarre life, and death remain unanswered, but today millions remembered his music. Jackson's mother, Catherine, has temporary custody of his 3 children and is expected to get full custody by next week. The Los Angeles Courier's office will release the autopsy results next week. The LA Police Department is investigating Jackson's personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray.
The first Dallas City furlough days left people confused and surprised. The July 4th weekend was over, but City Hall doors were still closed. Due to the budget cuts, city services extended the holiday weekend through Monday. Pools, libraries, and recreation centers also closed. The next furlough days will be during Labor Day weekend. During those 2 holidays, the city will save $1.7 million. At least 4 more are planned during this year. Former Dallas Mayor Pro Tem Don's Hill trial started on June 22nd. Hill is accused of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes from developers. In exchange, developers got the okay to build low-income housing projects. The FBI started investigation after developer Bill Fisher became their informant. Hill says he is innocent and will testify later in the trial. During the trial, prosecutors have been playing selections from wiretap conversations between defendants. 6 of the 14 defendants have pleaded guilty.
The Coast Guard ended the search for a North Texas plane that crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. The plane was flying from McKinney to Tampa when it went down. It could take weeks to figure out what caused the plane. The Dallas aviation attorney says he already suspects what's partially the blame. Channel 8's Christian Rodriguez reports.
The search for survivors is over. Now investigators look into why a North Texas plane crashed off the Gulf of Mexico.
What caught my attention when I first heard about this crash was, why did that airplane go into that weather? Most likely broke up in flight.
Dallas aviation attorney John Kettles doesn't represent anyone involved, but his experience tells him that air traffic controllers might bear some responsibility.
The controllers would have had some indication of the intensity of this weather on their scopes. And they're required to tell pilots about that.
You can see the small plane's flight path in green leaving North Texas there. It went down 42 miles from the coast of Florida, killing 5.
The case I had handled previously in northern Florida.
2 years ago, Kettles sued the government after a deadly crash. In his case, the pilot flew into a severe storm without any indication. NTSB investigators said the controller's lack of a weather warning was a factor.
Unfortunately, there have been quite a few cases where controllers don't give the required warnings and pilots inadvertently or unknowingly fly into extreme weather and the airplane comes apart in flight.
The NTSB cites at least 4 other deadly accidents where controllers didn't notify pilots of strong weather. It's not known what was said over the radio last Wednesday before the plane disappeared from radar. The NTSB says the pilots are primarily responsible for avoiding severe weather and not controllers. Reporting, Christian Rodriguez for Channel 8 News.
This summer started with a historic change in television. On June 12th, television switched from analog to digital signal. Thanks to DTV, every station, including WFAA, now offers better quality of picture and sound.
The General Motors plant in Arlington started production in July after a 2-month shutdown. This is GM's only full-size SUV plant. In August, there will be another mandatory 2-week vacation. GM came out of bankruptcy protection in July.
Shock turned to anger for residents watching their apartment complex burn after learning a neighbor may have started it. Channel 8's Ariel Bradford joins us in the newsroom with details. Ariel?
Kim, a witness tells police this all started after a woman lit a dress on fire. That woman was taken into police custody, but not before some tense moments with neighbors.
People at Millennium Point apartment complex watch their homes go up in flames and realize they have lost everything. Many residents are angry because the person that they say started the fire lives in the building.
It was gulfed up in the front, and the guy said, she done ran away. She said that car went on fire.
Apartment owners have accused their neighbor, Ebony Collins, of starting the fire. Arson investigators took Collins into custody, and sources say that they saw Collins light a dress on fire in her apartment and then left the scene. Regina Jefferson, former caretaker of Collins, says that Collins is mentally ill, but she has been able to live on her own for 5 months.
She completed a program that I had, and she was able to get her own place because at the time she was stable on her meds and she was able to live on her own.
Maria Soto and her 2 boys live next door to Collins and say that she has complained before to management about her neighbor's behavior.
Just, I'm sad right now. Where am I going to sleep right now? Like me, I work hard every day. Let me tell you that. I work hard every day. I work hard for Lee and Grace and my 2 boys.
Like Soto, 40 residents of Building 13 have lost all that they have and now have to pick up the pieces and start over.
A 13-year-old boy did jump from the 3rd floor of the apartment building because he was afraid the firefighters would not get to him in time. He was taken to the hospital to check out his injuries and is expected to make a full recovery. Also, the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army provided food and water to the residents of this complex. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Ariel Bradford, Channel 8 News.
Still ahead, Extreme Home Makeover is back in North Texas, this time to help a police officer.
And the Cowboys kick off the first day of training camp in San Antonio and prepare for a new season. More to come on Channel 8 Intern Newscast.